The Club World Cup knockout stage is right around the corner, and I want to run through the entire bracket and make my predictions up until the final, where I will be revealing who I think ultimately is going to win this first brand new edition of the tournament. It's been fire so far. I'm not going to lie. I think the group stage has definitely been interesting. And I need you guys to get in the comment section and let me know what you've thought about the Club World Cup so far, and what are your predictions for the round of 16 and the possible matchups that we're going to have in the future. This shit feels like another version of the UCL. A major trophy is on the line, and all these teams want to win it. I'm going to be honest. I think the Club World Cup in the next 20, 30 years is going to be considered the biggest trophy that a team can win. I think it will surpass the UCL, because now that it's every 4 years, and now that you have to qualify for it through certain criteria, that means one team is only going to have a chance to win this trophy 2 times every decade. You know how mad that is? It's going to be a prestigious trophy, just like how the International World Cup is. But you know, when a new tournament gets started, people always try and downplay it because their club couldn't get in. People always try and shit on it, make it seem like it's not a major trophy, even though factually it is. Watch, I'm telling you. But get in the comment section. Let me know what you guys are saying. We're going to run through this bracket. We're going to make these predictions, and we'll see who comes out on top. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those post notifications. Let's get it. Before I go to the bracket and start making my picks, I do want to look through the group stage and what the standings looked like, because when I looked at some of these games, I made some predictions in my head when I saw the groups, but I didn't make a video for that. And I don't know why I didn't make a video about the groups, but let me see if I would have gotten things right. So Group A was Palmeiras, who topped it. Inter Miami qualified as well, coming second. Porto in third, and Al Ahly in fourth. I would have gotten this kind of wrong. I didn't think Inter Miami were going to qualify for the knockout rounds. When I look at Inter Miami, yes, I know that they have Messi, so everybody sucks them off, but they're not that good. And they're washed, right? Like Luis Suarez. This guy can't chase a through ball, okay? Luis Suarez is running at 1 mile per hour. This man turns like an 18-wheeler. You got Busquets in that midfield. Inter Miami are not good. So I definitely thought they were going to come third. Al Ahly, I did think that they would come last, but I thought Porto would top this group. I thought Palmeiras would have come second. I don't know what the hell. Yo, Porto have got to be embarrassed, you know. Big team in Portugal, and you're out there getting grouped in the Club World Cup. A MLS team coming above you. You didn't win 1 game in the group stage. 2 draws, 1 loss. Negative goal difference for Porto. Just went out there and embarrassed Europe. That is crazy. Porto should have definitely, on paper, qualified. But Palmeiras and Inter are through. Okay, looking at Group B. PSG came top, which is not a surprise. They are arguably the best team in Europe. Then you got Botafogo, who have went through as well. Atletico Madrid got knocked out. And then Seattle Sounders came fourth. Again, I would not have expected Botafogo to finish above Atletico Madrid. I'm going to be real. Atleti are shit. These guys do nothing but embarrass Spain in all these international tournaments. If it wasn't for Real Madrid, nobody would rate La Liga. People would talk about that league like it's Ligue 1 or the Bundesliga, right? If it wasn't for Real Madrid, who step up in all these big tournaments, in the UCL, Club World Cup, UEFA Super Cup, if it wasn't for us, we would not be rated. Because Barcelona don't win nothing in the Champions League. Atletico Madrid are a disgrace. Somebody tell me, why should Diego Simeone keep his job? I know that he's done great things for that club, but lately, it's just been hella stagnant. Man like Julian Alvarez leaves Man City. The guy's won a trophy every single season of his professional career. Goes to Atletico Madrid, smashes it this season. One of the signings of the season. And then they don't win a trophy. Absolute scrub team. How are you not qualifying for the knockout stages if you're Atletico Madrid? This is a team that qualifies for the knockout stages of the UCL. out there. Nah, that's crazy. And we know it's wild. All three of these teams did finish on 6 points. And Botafogo were definitely the biggest surprise. I mean, they beat PSG. Like, that to me is crazy. And I mean, like, the Brazilian teams have been a big surprise this tournament. Seattle Sounders, yeah, MLS team coming fourth. I can't even name you one player. So that makes sense. But I would have never thought that Botafogo would have qualified from this group. This is a very hard group that they had. So now, look, big up to them. Group C, we got Benfica, Bayern, Boca, and Auckland. Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Auckland, they was getting their ass whooped. Yo, didn't they lose the first game of the group 10-0? They lost 10-0. Bayern destroyed them. Boca Juniors. See, this group, I would have predicted these two to go through, but I would have had Bayern top, Benfica second. Boca Juniors are a big team, but they're not better than Bayern. And, you know, you would expect Benfica to give them a hard time as well. So I think Bayern coming second, yeah, that is a little bit surprising, right? Benfica finished on 7 points. Bayern finished on 6. But yeah, these two going through makes sense. Now, Group D, Flamengo, top. See, like, Chelsea coming second is crazy. No way did you spend £1 billion over the last 2-3 years to not top your Club World Cup group, to come second to a team from Brazil that's named after a pink bird. Now, look, big up Flamengo. They actually beat Chelsea. Shit, that was the decider right there, to be honest. But, yeah, I would have predicted both these teams to go through. I think Chelsea have looked kind of mediocre in this tournament. Like, Cole Palmer hasn't really impressed me. I think Liam Delap, their new striker, he's looked solid. I've never heard of this team right here. Tunisia? I don't know where the fuck they're from. And LAFC, again, I didn't think any MLS sides were going to qualify for the next rounds. I'm gonna be real. But, yeah, I mean, these two to go through makes sense. Group E. You got Inter Milan. Obviously, I think everybody would have expected them to top the group. And then Monterrey came second. Big up to Sergio Ramos, okay? But I think I would have went for River Plate to come second, to be honest. But, yeah, Inter topping this group. Yeah, makes sense. Even though I don't think Inter are that good of a team. I feel like the dominance that Inter had over the Italian football stuff the last few years, that's out. I'm gonna be real. I think their time is up as the best team in Italy. I wouldn't be surprised if they get overtaken. I mean, we saw last season they bottled it. Then they got absolutely destroyed in the UCL final. Group F, you got Dortmund, came first, Fluminense. Yeah, Sundowns. Yeah, this makes sense. I think I would have predicted this as well. I know Sundowns is from, I think, South Africa, and I have no idea where this team is from. Dortmund are a decent team. They don't really win anything anymore, right? They're more so concerned about selling kids for high profits, right? They're like human traffickers nowadays. But they do play a good brand of football. They do have some big-name players. They are the best team in this group. So this does make sense. Group G. We got Man City and Juve. Yeah, this makes sense. This is the exact order that I would have predicted. Man City did not lose a game in the group stage. They only conceded twice. They scored 13 goals. They absolutely beat the brakes off of Juventus, right? The Pasta Mafia held smoke. I'm be real. Al Ain and then Wydad. Yeah, there was no way. There was no way that either of them were going to be able to be above a Juve and a Man City. And then the final group, Group H. Real Madrid, Al Hilal. This is exactly how I would have predicted it. Salzburg were putting up a good fight, though. But, you know, they lost the final game to Real Madrid. Al Hilal ended up beating Pachuca. So, we two advance. Look, Real Madrid are cooking at the moment. That game that we had against Salzburg was really impressive, especially in that first half. So, these are the standings, right? I just wanted to kind of run through this real quick. And then you guys see up here what the bracket looks like on the road to that final. So let's just get straight into it and let's make our selection. So for the first game that I see right here is Palmeiras versus Botafogo. So we got a Brazil matchup in the round of 16, and I think Palmeiras will go through. I think Palmeiras if I'm not mistaken, recently they have been one of the better teams in Brazil. I know that Botafogo have won. I believe they won the Libertadores recently, so they're a good team as well, right? Their striker, Igor Jesus, was in the national team for Brazil. Also, I believe is getting a move to Nottingham Forest, if I'm not mistaken. But I like Palmeiras a bit more, right? I like Esteval Willian. I like Richard Rios, that they have in that midfield, right? They also got guys like Victor Roque. They also have like Facundo Torres, I believe he also made a move there. They have a decent team. I think Palmeiras ends up going through. Now, who will face them between Benfica and Chelsea? Now, this shit is looking like a Champions League matchup. I'm going to give the edge to Chelsea. I think Chelsea just have more talent than Benfica. For me, Benfica, their squad's a little bit older, right? Like, they're still playing Otamendi. They still got, I believe, Di Maria. Chelsea's a little bit younger. Their midfield's a lot better. I like Caicedo. I really like Enzo Fernandez. I really like Cole Palmer. And you see, like, Liam Delap, he's been a very good number 9 for them throughout this tournament so far. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Chelsea. I think this Chelsea-Benfica game can definitely be high scoring, though. I can definitely see like a 3-2, right? Chelsea's defense is kind of suspect. Benfica's defense is suspect as well. But I will give them the advantage. Also, for Palmeiras, Botafogo, I would say, let me see. I think like Palmeiras like 2-1. Or like a 1-0. I think it'll be a really competitive game. And again, chat, we are going to predict all the way up until the final. So we'll get to the quarters after we go through the round of 16. Now, looking at Inter versus... Yeah, come on. Like, Inter. I'm be real. Fluminense. Again, look, the Brazilian teams have done really well throughout this tournament. But I just cannot see them beating Inter. Like, that would be a major upset. And then we got Man City versus Al Hilal. Now, this should be a very good game. But I don't think Al Hilal have the firepower to hang in there with Man City. Hey, look, man, Man City came into this tournament retooled, okay? These guys made some big signings, right? Cherky, Reinders. They also signed some other players as well. In January, they spent a shit ton of money. And, again, they've not lost a game in the group stage. They look like they're on smoke. Erling Haaland bagging. Savio's looking good. The midfield is just running through these guys. I think Man City will end up beating Al Hilal. That should be a good game, right? Because Al Hilal, they are the best team in Asia. They do have a lot of talent, right? Like Ruben Neves, Milinkovic-Savic. They got João Cancelo, who's going to be going against his former team. You got Mitrovic, that'll be up top in the 9. You got the Barca reject Malcolm. You got Koulibaly in the back line. Bonu, the goalkeeper. So, you know, Al Hilal do have some talent, but they're not touching Man City. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what Inzaghi does, right? Because we know he's going to be very defensive in this game. So, will they be able to hold on? Who knows? PSG versus Inter Miami. Yeah, I don't think anybody actually believes that Inter Miami have a chance. I think what PSG are about to do to Inter Miami is going to be historical. This is going to be a biblical kind of ass whipping. Inter Miami do not know what's about to hit them. I think PSG, and real quick, Inter versus Fluminense, I'm going to say like 2-0. City versus Al Hilal, I'm going to say like 3-1. PSG versus Miami, I'm going to say like 5-0. 5-6-0. I'm telling you, PSG are the best team in the world right now with how they play ball. You saw them absolutely tear apart one of the best defenses in Europe in Inter Milan. What are they going to do to Miami, who are a Barca retirement home? Yeah, I'm going to be real. This is about to go down in like the history books. This is going to be a mystical kind of ass whipping. Flamengo versus Bayern. Yeah, I think Bayern are going to absolutely cook Flamengo. I don't know what it is, but like when Bayern are playing these smaller teams, they absolutely destroy them, right? Like when Bayern are taking a game serious and they're going against inferior opponents, generally the scoreline is super disrespectful. Look at Auckland when they won 10-0 in the first game of the group stage. But yeah, I don't think Flamengo are going to have the firepower to hang in there with them. Now, we got Dortmund versus Monterrey. Interesting. You know, aside from Sergio Ramos, I don't really know too much about Monterrey. They look decent, but are they going to have enough to overcome Dortmund? I can definitely see an upset here, but I do know more about Dortmund. I think they end up going through. I think it'll be a close game. I don't expect Dortmund to dominate. And then we got Real Madrid versus Juve. I mean, come on. We all know I'm going to pick Real Madrid. If we can play like how we did in that first half against Salzburg, Spaghetti FC is not ready. I'm telling you that right now. They don't want this smoke. So, yeah, this is what I'm saying for the round of 16. Let me know if you guys agree. But let's move on to the quarterfinals. Now, Palmeiras versus Chelsea is super interesting because you got Esteval going against his parent club. Because remember, he signed for Chelsea, and he is going to be joining them after this tournament. Is he going to be available to play this game? I would think Esteval would be available for this match. That's going to be really interesting if we do see this matchup in the quarterfinals. But I just think Chelsea have too much firepower for a team like Palmeiras. I expect them to go through. City versus Inter. I got Man City advancing. I don't really rate Inter Milan. Yeah, I just think that City just looked really good. And I expect them to continue that in these knockout stages. PSG versus Bayern. Yo, this is like a UCL semifinals, right? Between Inter, Man City, PSG versus Bayern. Like, if that was next year's semifinals of the Champions League, I don't think anybody would be too surprised, right? Because these are the biggest teams in Europe that are going to be facing off. But I think Bayern are just not that good. Defensively, they're very suspect. PSG, they're the most technically gifted side in the world. The way that they play football is ridiculous, right? Desiree Doué, Ousmane Dembele, who's going to win the Ballon d'Or more than likely. You got Kvaratskhelia, that midfield, Vitinha, João Neves, Fabian Ruiz in the back line. You got the best left back in the world, Nuno Mendes. You also have one of the best right backs in the world in Hakimi. You also got Marquinhos, fucking William Pacho, Donnarumma. Bayern have a very good team, and it should be a very good matchup. It should be a very entertaining game. But I just don't think that they're going to be good enough to beat PSG. Now, would I be shocked if Bayern went through? Yes. But can it happen? Of course, right? Now, Dortmund versus Real Madrid. Jude versus Job. I don't think Dortmund can... No. Yeah, I think Real Madrid will end up in the final. So now we're in the last four. Chelsea versus Man City, a top 6 matchup in the Prem. Real Madrid versus PSG. I'm gonna be real. I think Man City end up beating Chelsea. Chelsea are still a bit inexperienced. There's still questions to be asked about Enzo Maresca. Again, defensively, they're not all that. I think Marmoush, Haaland, and these guys should be able to take advantage. I think they'll beat Chelsea. PSG versus Real Madrid. My heart is telling me Real Madrid. I'm gonna be honest. Like, that's what my heart is telling me. But my brain is saying PSG. The thing is, I'm just not sure how we're going to be playing by then. If we can build on the performances that we've seen, I think we do beat PSG. I don't think any team is better than us in the world. But we are underneath a new system, new manager, whereas PSG just won the Champions League, won the treble. Luis Enrique's been instilling that system for over a year now, right? And they're doing great stuff. I still believe Real Madrid win this tournament, but I'm not going to be biased here. On paper, given all the factors, PSG should be beating us. PSG right now are a better team than us. Do I want to see that happen? No. But I would not be surprised if we ended up losing to them in the semis. Now, the final. Man City versus PSG. Oh, my days. Shit. Both these teams are very technical. Both these teams dominate the ball. Both these teams are generally the best team when they step onto the pitch. So, in a situation like this, how do you predict it? I'm struggling right here. Because, see, something has to give. Somebody's going to have to be off the ball. Some team's going to have to, like, 'cause they both just can't. Wow. You know what? I'm actually going to say Man City. I think Man City, just me being logical, off this bracket, I think they win. So, I want to know what you guys say. This is my prediction. I ultimately do believe Real Madrid wins it, but I'm trying not to be biased. So, this is my unbiased bracket. But Real Madrid, we will be there. Get in the comment section. Let me know what you think about my picks. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on those post notifications.